Hi everyone, this is Chris from Collage Nerd on Instagram and here on YouTube, and this is my very first walkthrough or unboxing video. And yes, I'm a bit nervous to be honest, but we'll try, and I guess together we'll make it through these beautiful cards and to the end of this video. First of all, I'd like to thank all those who have gone before me and walked this path of videos on YouTube about tarot and walkthroughs and unboxing, and well, those people that inspired me to get out of the closet in a way and yes, make my own video today. Just to name a few: Kelly from The Truth and Story, of course, and Tom Benjamin, Elle from The Sacred Seed, and Magdalena from Wolf of Coins. I wanted to say World of Coins. No, it's Wolf of Coins, of course. Sorry. So what do I have here? I ordered the Tarot de Vieville. I hope I'm spelling that correctly, not sure. Paris, 1650, so in the midst of the 17th century. And it's from Éditions Le Tarot by Flornoy. This is a recreation of this deck, and actually it comes with 44 cards, because it's a majors only deck, and or the reproductions are majors only. And so what's interesting about this deck is, first of all, if you look at it historically, it's a bit, well, a mash between the 15th century Visconti decks from Milan and Italy and the 18th century and so on Tarot de Marseille structure. And this deck, in a way, fills in the gap between those two traditions or ways of making tarot decks and tarot cards. And so what we have here are the 22 majors recreated as they were, but most of the majors look in different directions than we are used to from the later Marseille tradition. For example, the Fool, who usually looks to the right. In this deck, he looks to the left. And so what Flornoy decided to do is to give people the option which one they like better, being used to maybe Marseille pictures. So you get two major arcanas, which makes up to 44 cards, of course, and they're to a very reasonable price, I think, because these two major arcana decks cost in Europe 20 euros, which is not very much. I think it might be about $18 or something. Well, I ordered them directly from the page, which is a French page located in France, so shipping to Germany wasn't that expensive. Maybe if you order this deck from overseas, from America, the deck itself is not very expensive, as mentioned before, but shipping might be a problem there, but I think it's worth it. I just unpacked this beauty, and what I got as a bonus were these 4 cards showing the Star card in this deck and the Sun card. And as you can see on the back of them, Éditions Le Tarot, the homepage, and Tarot de Vieville. Not sure about that. Paris 6050 again. And yeah, just, well, as an extra in a way. Maybe as a present, as a giveaway to people, or, well, we'll see how they end up. Or maybe decoration. But I won't go too much into the into the design of the single cards themselves, because we will look at them together. So, I put these aside. This is the package, tag box. Nothing really fancy, but for the price I think it's very, very valuable and very okay. And I like it this way, to be honest. You can keep the cards in it, store them away, they're safe, and it's fine. So here we have the 2 packs of majors. Very beautiful backs, I think. Looks very traditional, a little whimsical to me, but also magical, historical, I don't know, yet in a way simple, because they are black and white. For people who are interested in these kinds of things, they are reversible, of course, because it's a repeated pattern. I don't use reversals, so I wouldn't mind if they were not reversible, but they are. Yeah. Looks in a way like classic Marseille style. Interestingly, I think the Jean Noblet Tarot from the same creator from Flornoy has the same backing, or a backing that is very, very similar. Not sure, but Tom Benjamin has a walkthrough of the Jean Noblet, or a video about the Jean Noblet, and if you want to compare the two, you can. Then, the cards themselves are a bit larger than a classical Rider-Waite-Smith, I think. Not so sure. And of course, this is my first video, as I said. I don't have a standard sized decks for comparison. Well, take it as it is. But it's quite a very manageable size. I guess you can shuffle them easily. Me having very large hands, but I think people with smaller hands won't have that much of a problem, because 22 cards per se is a lot easier to shuffle than 78 cards, I think. So then we have 2 instruction or information cards, which are in French and in English. Maybe I should give them a quick read. Jacques VIEVILLE was active as a Parisian card maker from 1643 to 1664, and this deck is thought to have been published about 1650. Here are VIEVILLE's 22 trumps as they appear in the only known copy preserved in the French National Library. A portion are reminiscent of the Marseille tradition, while others correspond to an iconography of course, observed in 18th century tarots from Rouen and Bruxelles. The VIEVILLE Tarot could perhaps represent a confluence of 2 traditions, the Marseille and one inherited more or less directly from the tradition popular in northern Italy, as mentioned in the beginning of the video. So, as usual in Marseille style or historical decks, we start with Le Bateleur, or the Juggler, card number 1, not the Fool, which doesn't have a number. And what you can see here is they are mirroring each other. So if I'm not wrong, I guess the Magician in the original VIEVILLE Tarot looks to the right. Usually in Marseille decks he looks to the left, so what Flornoy did is he made 2 versions of the Magician, one that is historically correct, and then a mirrored version for those who would like to keep it in the Marseille tradition. The Popess, or High Priestess, as she is called in modern decks. Very big hands, I have to say, very large hands. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Not quite sure about that. But she's holding a book or a scroll, as we're used to, wearing a tiara. The veil behind her looks very Marseille style to me. And of course, let's go back to the Juggler or Magician. He looks very Marseille stylish too. standing at a table with knives and cups and whatnot, different objects, and a little wand in his hand. The traditional hat we are used to from the Marseille decks. Well, quite traditional, except for the bird here. Interesting. The Empress, quite Marseille style, I'd say. Yeah, with the eagle, looking lovely in a way, maybe a bit sad or a bit dreamy. Yeah. The Emperor, looking to the left as we are used to from Marseille decks that came after this deck, with the eagle again, his staff of authority. Yeah. Then we have the Pope, or High Priest, or Hierophant, however you'd like to call it. Traditionally it would be the Pope, as we can see, with his staff here, and the tiara wearing on his head, the two supplicants that we are used to see, with their two hats. Interesting, making a gesture of benediction. Interesting are these two columns in the back, not as you would expect them to be, without anything going on them, just plain pillars. Now here it looks like they are people in a way. Not sure if you can see that. Looks like faces to me, like stylized people, angel, whatever. Interesting. Lovers in the Marseille style, 3 people and Cupid or an angel, however you'd like to call and see it, with an arrow. Yeah, a winged creature. One of the 2 ladies, though this one looks like a man, to be honest. One of the ladies having her hand on the chest of the man in the middle, who has to decide which one to take or which way to go. Interesting. So what they also did is, in the original VIEVILLE Tarot, the numbering and the order is a bit different at times. So traditionally in this deck, Justice is number 7 and not number 8. So if we go on, you can see that here Justice is 8 as we are used to, and the Chariot is 8 in the traditional version. A little bit confusing, isn't it? So if we want to compare them, we have Justice, 1 being labeled as 7, 1 being labeled as 8, as we are used to. And, well, it's a Justice card, quite obviously, with her sword and her scales. Very Marseille-like. And then we have the 2 chariots. Again, traditional, 2 creatures looking to one side. We got here the traditional moon face. We got the canopy above him. We got, well, more or less 4 pillars. Interesting breastplate. And a 6-cornered thingy here, a plug or something. Interesting, no initials. Usually when card makers did this in the Marseille tradition, they would put their initials on this, but here they are not. And interesting, at first glance, you can't see any wheels. Here's something that's a bit round. Could be a setting sun, a mountain in the back, a hill, whatever, or maybe one of the 2 wheels, or maybe this chariot doesn't have 2 wheels. So then again, we got a change of numbering. So strength is number 9, but we are used to number 9 being the Hermit. and vice versa. So we'll go to Justice and get back to Strength and the Hermit later. So here we have the Wheel of Fortune, number 10, which is number 10 in the original VIEVILLE Tarot as in the Marseille Tarot. Interesting. Looks like maybe there's water going on. Then the wheel with the handle, as we are used to. Not really a sphinx on top, but, well, a person with not a sword but a wand. That's quite different. A rabbit, I guess, going up, and the person going down. But all in all, it's the wheel of change and of fortune, of course. So, then we have the Hermit, the two hermits facing each other. No lantern, interesting, no hourglass, no staff. Maybe this part here was supposed to be a staff, but in the creation of the deck it got more like part of his cloak. Not sure about that. And he seems to be holding something, but just opening up the cloak. Not sure. Maybe he's veiling or disguising his face. Very interesting Hermit card. Very nice face, I have to say. It looks quite old and wise, and yeah, the eyes are a bit tired, but tired from contemplation, and not in a negative way, not in a drowned or exhausted way. More of these are the eyes of an old age. They've seen it all, and now he seems quite relaxed with everything he's been through, and yeah, feeling well in his cloak without a staff or a lamp. So, then we have 11, the Strength card, with a traditional lion, very Marseille style, I'd say. Usually we are used to see the woman on the Strength card facing right. In the VIEVILLE Tarot it's facing left. So when you order this deck you can choose which one you prefer, but all in all it's a lion. Interesting now that I have a closer look at this. Usually on the Marseille decks you have the woman with her hat and the lion is just behind her, or in a way it's mixing with her dress in a way. So you're just able to see the head of the lion, the mane of the lion, and maybe the two pranks. And you never really see the foot of the Empress, of the Lady of the Strength card. So this is quite interesting. This is unusual. So here we can see her bare foot, and we can see the complete lion, not just the head of the lion. The whole animal, though his two legs, or back legs, are missing in a way. So then we have number 12, the Hanged Man or the Traitor. And interestingly, in the original version he was upside down. Well, he is upside down, of course, being the Hanged Man, but in the original VIEVILLE Tarot, historically correct, he is not hanging upside down. And the 12 is on the top of the card. So, as it has been before by all the other cards, they really have flipped the Hanged Man upside down. So now he's standing in a way, which, well, I don't want to call it a mistake. Looking at it from our perspective now, we would call it a mistake, of course, but, well, who are we to know? Maybe there was some deeper meaning behind this. But in the second version of this deck, you get the Hanged Man that's really hanging from the tree, or, yeah, the two trees that we're used to, yeah, everything. Strange hands that we know from very early versions of the Marseille, like the Noble Tarot or the Dudal Tarot. Well, interesting hair. And then comes number 13. By the way, I just wanted to mention that the death doesn't have a title, as mostly is the case in Marseille decks, but in this VIEVILLE deck, none of the cards have any titles. So this is more like the Visconti Tarot, no titles on the trump cards, just the Roman numerals, the old style numerals, 4 being four eyes and not an I and a V. So 13, the death card, which is quite beautiful, I think, with a scarf flying around him, draped around him. Interesting that part of his arm is green. Not sure why that is, but maybe as a symbol of life, of growth. And yeah, there is still some flesh on his body. You can see the rib cage and everything. That's quite like a skeleton, and the head, of course. But there's still some flesh on his bones. Here we have the scythe and severed heads and hands, as we are used to in Marseille decks, and a lovely flower growing, new life coming out of death. 14, the Temperance card, which is quite interesting because this really, now we are getting to see cards that are not the way we normally think of them, in the way they're depicted in traditional Marseille decks and the decks that followed, for example, the Rider-Waite-Smith of Claws. Because here, Temperance doesn't have 2 vessels in both of her hands and mixing them between the vessels in their hands. No. In one hand, there is 1 vessel, and she is dropping water into another vessel standing beside her. And on the other hand, in the other hand, she's holding a staff or a wand with some interesting green wings on it. Not sure if the wing is maybe supposed to incline that this is the wand of Hermes or something. Not really sure, but in modern tarot terminology, we could say she's combining fire, wands, and water, and even earth and air. That's interesting, because the wings might be associated with air being on top of the wand, and the second vase or cup might be, or urn, might be connected to earth, standing on the ground. So we would have earth, water, fire, the wand itself, and air, the wings. That's quite interesting. And we see the red and blue. Well, this is like a purple tone, but I guess you could say it's red and blue for fire and water, hot and cold, etc. And the right mixture between the 2 extremities. The Devil. Very interesting devil, I think. No supplicants, no one being, no one in bondage or whatever. Very interesting, very animalic in a way, very monstrous devil with bat wings and spitting fire and claws and faces everywhere on the belly, as is traditional in a way, on his knees. Very, very interesting devil. Reminds me in a way of the creature from the Black Lagoon or something, being green. But I think he's adorable, this devil. I like him. So then we have the Tower. And here we see another very, very specific difference, because there is no tower on the Tower card. In the VIEVILLE Tarot, we see a tree, obviously, clouds. We get the little dots we are used to from Marseille-style towers. We have a person, but this person looks to be in wonder, looking up to the cloud and the tree and not falling down or anything. We have little goats in the background, a herd. That's quite interesting, and maybe this is supposed to show thunder or something like that. Yeah. The power of nature, which can be, of course, destructive, or tension, uncertainty. Interesting card. The Star card. No naked woman with 2 urns by the water. In this Star card here, we have an astronomer, I guess, or an astrologer, with one very big star and smaller stars around it. Yeah. With a book, I guess. Watching the stars, trying to measure the stars, maybe measure time, measure fate in a way. Interesting. An observation tower, I guess. The moon is different too. No 2 dogs. No crab or crayfish in a pond. We get the moon. We get a tree, a lovely tree outside in nature. And then we get a woman with a spindle. So this may be, in a way, a personification of fate. Maybe this is meant the moon goddess, or the moon goddess, or the female mysterious aspect of the divine with the spindle of fate. Or maybe it's a woman at night or in the evening when the moon is still visible, using her spindle. The Sun. Interesting Sun, because in the later Marseille-style decks we see the Sun and 2 children. Here we have I would say it's a naked baby. I think Kelly from The Truth and Story cries out loud now, but it is a naked baby on a horse. What can I say? But what's obviously is, if you compare this to the later Rider-Waite-Smith version, the similarities are quite obvious, because, as said before, we have a naked baby riding a horse. Very interesting and quite unusual, I guess. The Judgment card, typical Judgment card, even in Marseille style, 3 figures, 3 people coming out of the graves, an angel above with his trumpet, typical in the clouds, Judgment or Angel card. The World card, very traditional, the laurel leaves around the central figure with a staff in his hand, a wand, a halo around his head. The 4 creatures, the cherubim or evangelists, or the zodiac signs of Leo, Taurus, Aquarius and Scorpio. Interestingly, this person doesn't seem to be a woman. From Marseille on, we mostly are used to see a woman in the World card, but this seems to be, a man or an androgynous person. To be honest, this, in a way, looks like he's very, very hairy, this person. Not sure about that, but maybe it's an hermaphrodite or something. And last but not least, the Fool. Traditional Fool at first glance. Moving on. on his way with little bells and his staff, like a wanderer, moving around on his journey. Interesting creature here at the back. Could be a cat in a way, could be a little lion, could be a dog. Looks like it has some chicken feet. Not sure if that's supposed to be a dog or a cat or a fantastical creature. Not so sure. And donkey ears on the headdress, I guess. Interesting. So, that was my very, 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 very first unboxing and walkthrough video. I hope you liked and enjoyed this video. And yes, maybe I will go on with other decks and other videos. Feel free to leave a comment below if you have any questions. And I will put links to the channels I mentioned and of course where you can buy this deck in the information box below. Bye!